Okay, so there's three kinds of teachings out here. So the one that I want to talk about is the first kind of teaching is where they tell you that there's only a soul of man. That at the fall, the spirit of man was taken away, and there is no spirit until you're born again. That's one type of teaching I've seen out there, okay? The second type of teaching out there is the spirit is dead, right? And that spirit's dead, but then that spirit gets completely removed, and then the Spirit of God comes in, right? That's the other kind of teaching. The other kind of teaching is that the spirit is dead, but it's the spirit of natural man, the spirit that he gave everyone and created in his image and likeness, right? And the nature in him is dead, right? And then the nature of the Father comes into your spirit, right? Creating you one with him in spirit. That's the other kind of teaching. I'm sharing that with you because as you teach this, I don't want you just to get a lesson. I want you to be able to teach other people too, right? So you're going to run across these, and people will come at you with these kind of teachings. And reality is, guys, bottom line, it's okay if they do, because no matter what, all three teachings end at the fact that there is a new creation. Okay? I stand more on the number 3. Okay, and that's where I'm going to teach from, and I'm going to show you scripturally why I stand on it. And then because I want you to be secure in this and settled in this as well, and I want you to be able to teach it. So, what we're going to do real quick is I'm going to throw these scriptures out at you guys, but I want you to know the scriptures I'm giving you, okay, are just a few of 41 scriptures in the Bible that talk about God's spirit and man's spirit. Okay, there's 41 scriptures in the Bible, but I'm just going to give you a few of them. We'll touch base on it real quick. Okay, so let's start over here. Abdul, I want you to get 1 Corinthians 5:14. Right there in the back, I forgot your name was Billy. Billy, I want you to get Romans 15:8, 15, and 16. Let's go here. Let's go 1 Corinthians 14:14, and then 14:32. Okay. Then we got Proverbs 28 or 25:28. Yeah, I'll get you Proverbs 25:28. Hebrews 12:23. Let's go with what's your name again, buddy? I'm sorry. Andy, I want you to get that one, okay? And then my favorite one, Zechariah 12:1. Okay, and then we'll just end there, guys, because what these are going to be able to show you is going to show you all three things I'm trying to say. Is one, that the Spirit of God, okay? The other one is that there's a spirit in man. And the man, this is going to answer some of your questions that you had when we were talking. I was glad when you said that, because I hope this helps you too, Antonio, on that. Yeah. So the first one is talking about my spirit. Go ahead, Romans 8:15 and 16.
For you have not received the spirit of bondage again to fear, but you have received the spirit of adoption, whereby we cry, Abba, Father. The Spirit itself beareth witness with our spirit that we are the children of God.
Okay, I want you to see, first of all, in 15, where it's dividing, okay? The difference between one spirit and the other spirit, okay? But then I want you to see where it says that our spirit receives the spirit of adoption. Whose spirit is that talking about? So natural man's spirit, right? Receives the spirit of adoption. Okay? All right, let's go to the next one. 1 Corinthians 14:14 and 32.
It says, for if I pray in an unknown tongue, my spirit prayeth, but my understanding is unfruitful. And then 32 says, and the spirits of the prophets are subject to the prophets.
Okay, the spirits of the prophets are subjects. What are the spirits? Those demons?
No.
Is it talking about plural? More than one prophet? It's talking about the spirits, the spirit that's in each different prophet? I mean, you're going to have to come up with this on your own conclusion. I'm just giving you some evidence to think about, okay? Okay, let's go Proverbs 25:28.
He that hath no rule over his own spirit is like a city that is broken down and without walls.
Okay, so here we are. Old covenant, Old Testament. Before, this is under the old nature. Okay, it's talking about the old nature having a spirit. Okay, so to me, this kind of excommunicates number one. Okay, that's just me. I'm just sharing you why I'm saying this. Okay, Because some people believe you're only a soul. There's no spirit in your soul. That excommunicates that there is a spirit. What is a spirit? Now it's either one of these two right here. Okay? All right, let's go to the next one. It says one's own spirit in Proverbs. Hebrews 12:23.
To the church of the firstborn, whose names are written in heaven, you have come to God, the judge of all men, to the spirits of righteousness. To the spirits of righteous men made perfect.
Is that plural? The spirit?
Yes, spirits of righteous
Okay.
men made perfect.
The spirits of righteous men. Now, is there one spirit of God or is there spirits of God?
One.
Okay, there's one spirit of God, right? So what's the spirits that's being talking about? The spirit of natural man, right? Okay. So what I'm trying to show here is that natural man, everybody was born with a spirit, right? You had a spirit. It's made in the image and likeness of God. Okay? All right. So now, Zechariah 12:1.
The burden of the word of the Lord concerning Israel. Thus declares the Lord, who stretches out the heavens, lays the foundation of the earth, and forms the spirit of man within him.
Oh. So God formed the spirit of man within him. Old Testament. Okay? So I just want to make the point that everybody has a spirit, soul, and body. Okay, so there is a spirit, soul, and body. All right? Now it's either one, that spirit gets uprooted and gone, and a complete new spirit comes. That's the other teaching. Or else it's the nature of the spirit gets uprooted and the other one comes. Right? But then when we go back to the other scripture, it says that your spirit receives the adoption of the Spirit of God. So that to me says that there's no taking out of your spirit. It's not like it's taking you out, but it's actually coming in and inhabiting you and becoming who you are. No longer I who live, but Christ who lives in me. Okay? All right. So then we understand this and we can understand these four things. But remember, guys, remember there's 41 times in Scripture that it talks about these. There's 41 of them in Scripture, guys. I encourage you to do your own Google on it, okay? And discover it. The reason I want you to discover is because you have to become secure in who you are. You have to understand who you are, guys. This is a key to everything. If you do not understand who you are, and you don't understand who you are as a spirit, and a spirit son, you'll totally miss everything I taught you. Everything at all, okay? Okay, so now, there's three parts to the spirit. Okay, and these three parts are broken up in three different sections. And the reason I want to tell this with you guys is I want you to understand your spirit. Okay? And the spirit that's controlled by the Spirit of God, that's in union with the Spirit of God, will function in this likeness. And I'll show you as we go through this, okay? Number one is the spirit has a conscience. A conscience. Number two, the spirit has an intuition. A hunch. Do you understand what that is? Give me an example. See, the subconscious, it's like when I gave you the example of doing something wrong. Like if I stole something, that conscience inside says, "Oh, you know better than that." Right? It's that little voice in you that speaks. That's how God speaks to you. Just like that. It will be the one. Now remember, God convicts, He don't condemn, right? So really, and the conscience, it's the part of you that discerns. Okay? What does it discern? It discerns right and wrong. Okay? The conscience will judge what the soul condones. Do you follow with me? This is what it looks like. For example, conscience says you shouldn't have stole that, or you know you shouldn't have stole that, and your soul goes, yeah, but you know you're hungry. You know your family's hungry. You have to do what you got to do. Right? How many people we hear say that, right? I got to do what I got to do. Right? So here's the soul condoning. The spirit will be the one who will judge what the soul condones. So you're the judging part of you, where you judge from, and every person has the ability to judge. What are we going to judge after? The spirit, right? How does the spirit judge? It judges according to his image and likeness, according to his fruit, according to his characteristics, right? Love, joy, peace, kindness. He's going to judge you into who you are, not who you're not. Okay? Also, it says, if we make a mistake in conduct, the conscience will convict. Okay, so when we do something wrong, your conscience is the one that convicts you. The reason I'm breaking this down, guys, these are the voices you hear in your head. Just like all the other voices, guys, these are voices you hear in your head. But I'm helping you decipher what is spirit, what is flesh, what is soul, what is the logic, what's rationale, what's feeling, what's carnal. If we can't divide the voices, we don't understand who's talking to us. The other voice is the voice of the Spirit. So when that's why I said, when we will get convicted, it's not condemnation. Who condemns?
So,
Who convicts?
Spirit.
Okay? Night and day. You're going to get those thoughts in your head, but you got to know where they're coming from so you know who's talking. All right? Right here, as a believer, we need to learn to follow the voice of the conscience and instruction of intuition. I want to explain to you what intuition is. You gave an example. It's like a word of knowledge. Okay? Word of knowledge comes, your mind don't understand how it came. I just got this hunch. I just got this inside me. We call the soul calls it, I just got a feeling. Good feeling. The spirit says, it's the intuition. It's what it is. And the feeling will run out to the five senses, right? The hunch will just be a knowing in you that functions after the fruits of the Spirit. Are you following me? Is this helping? I'm trying to break down these voices that we're hearing, guys. The conscience convicts our conduct that is contrary to intuition.
Can you say that one more time? I'm sorry.
The conscience convicts our conduct that is contrary to intuition. It'll convict what's contrary. What is contrary to this?
Condemnation? No? Oh.
Exactly. You're right. Condemnation comes from the soul. Right? The soul condemns you. You're condemned in flesh. Right? You won't be condemned for going to sleep on me. But you'll be condemned. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to roll with that. Okay. Down here. It says, the works of the conscience are independent and direct. The Spirit of God is independent. It's not dependent on the soul. It's independent. It's its own entity within the soul. It's its own identity. It's independent of the identity of the soul. It's separate. It's different. Okay? It's what makes the body and the mind come into perfection, come into unity, right? It makes it complete according to Thessalonians 5:23. Right? It makes it preserved. Now intuition. Intuition is that hunch you get. The soul will go, I got this feeling. The hunch will be just there. It'll be just a knowing. Right? And from this place, this is where we would discover God from. We discover God from this, okay? So this is what hunch looks like. It's the conscience within the spirit, not the soul. It's the consciousness within the spirit and not in the soul. Okay? I just described what the consciousness of the spirit looked like and the consciousness of the soul, right? The soul will be like, oh, I feel like we should be like doing this, right? That's soul talking. The hunch will be, the feeling won't even understand what's going on right now. That don't make no sense to me. I don't know how that is. Where did that come from? Where did that thought come from? I mean, it didn't come from a feeling. It didn't come from an emotion. It's just there, right? That's spirit, guys. Have you ever felt like that? You ever been there? Yeah. Has ever done that? You're just like, I don't know how I know it. I just know it. But it's not a feeling. It's not an emotion. It's just, it's just like a knowing. Okay? Get this, guys, and you're going to start learning how to hear the Spirit of God. Nobody teaches this kind of stuff, man. They don't break it down for you so you can hear the Spirit like this. This is critical, guys. It says, why is it called intuition? It's because it's direct and independent and on nothing else. That's why it's called intuition. It's not dependent on your feelings, your emotion, your logic, your rationale. It's not on the mind. It's not dependent on ego. It's not dependent on anything else. This will never understand this. Flesh is against the spirit, and the spirit is against the flesh. Galatians 5:17. Okay? Here's a good one right here. It's not dependent on feelings, soul, mind, will, and emotions. It's not even dependent on that. Here you go. There's another one. Knowledge comes from your intuition. Knowledge of God comes from this place. This is where you learn to know God. You just know. My mind doesn't understand it. But you know. You just know. You just fact. Fact is, the Pharisees seen him healed. Mind doesn't understand how this is possible. This carpenter just did this. He says he's the Son of God. It don't make no sense to me, but I just know what I seen. It's a knowing. If the knowledge of God comes from this place. It's game over, guys. A lot of us think, this is why I call this the GMO gospel. We're getting to know God from here. We're learning the soulish gospel, learning how to get a relationship with God, and soul, how to fellowship with God. God don't teach the soul. He teaches from the Spirit. He's your teacher, right? The soul has a conscience, guys. It does have a conscience. What do you think the conscience looks like? It's feeling, logic, emotion, right? The soul, it experiences God. It experiences worship. It experiences knowledge. It experiences power. But it's not where it comes from. It's not who you are. This guy will never understand God. This soul will never, it can be trained, because it says to renew your mind. It can be renewed and trained. But everything you learn comes from the Spirit. And this is where I'm trying to teach you that hunch, that knowing. I just know. I just know. I can't deny it. I don't know how it's possible because it don't look right. I just know. Huh.
It's like, Paul, when we talk about hearing God, for me, it's an imprint. And it comes from somewhere, but it's an imprinted voice
Yeah.
that I hear. It's an imprint, it's
Yeah,
an
that's so
intuition,
good.
an intuitive voice.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good. That's so good. Okay, through intuition, man can know something while the mind can only understand it. Did you get that?
Say it again, please.
Through intuition, it says through intuition, man can know something while the mind is trying to understand it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know what I've seen. I can't deny it, but I do not understand. This guy can't be the Son of God. No, he can't be. But I know I can't deny it. Your knowledge of God and your knowing God comes from your spirit, guys. My point is I'm getting you pointed to the Spirit, your teacher, and allowing you the understanding of where you're learning from. Okay? I'm doing this really fast, guys, so I'm trying to get through so we can get done. Okay, moves of God, prophetic, words of knowledge, all come from intuition. That's where you're standing before somebody and you just feel back. Like, I don't know why, I just got the word back. You got something going on in your back? Don't make no sense to me. I don't understand it, but I just got back. Got something going on? Yeah, my back's been hurting me. Isn't that what happened yesterday or the other day with the lady at the restaurant? You started getting something and you're like, I'm seeing this.
Yeah, special needs,
Yeah.
back, and she had a daughter that wore a back brace.
Yeah, and it just came. But that was a hunch.
Yeah, a lot of
His mind couldn't make sense of it, but he knew it. He knew it was something there. So a lot of times we're taught not to follow that thing. The thing is, we're going to learn that voice. And the more we get sensitive to it, the more we're going to function from words of knowledge. Prophecy. We're going to see greater moves of God because we're functioning from the Spirit. Remember, the Spirit is who you are. You're now functioning. So your conscience, your hunches, and your fellowship is now all in Spirit of God, not natural man. Right? So we're renewing our mind into who we are. Are you following me?
Yeah.
This making sense? Okay? This is what brings us right here, guys. It brings us perfect and complete. right? Spirit, soul, and body. This can be brought into alignment with who you are. It will take time. Don't get frustrated with the process. Know that you're okay. I'm okay. Why? Because I'm the Spirit Son of God. The seed is okay. I'm learning how to manifest the fruit of who I am. I'm not chasing the fruit to convince who I am. We're not reckoning ourselves to be spirit. We are spirit. This guy will reckon. Well, if you really are the Spirit of God, if you really are the Son of God, why don't you do this? Why don't you go clean the hospital out if you really can heal everybody?
Man, oh God.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, let me say a couple things real quick here, guys. Fellowship is the other part of the Spirit. The soul, the mind, will, and emotions, the flesh and body cannot worship God. Impossible. Why?
God is spirit. Must
We
worship
can only
in
worship
spirit
with
and
our
truth.
spirit.
That's right. You can only worship in spirit. Your body can feel the manifest presence of your worship. It can feel the manifest power of your worship. It can be a recipient of the power of God and who God is in spirit in you. It can receive it. It can be renewed to it. It can be trained into understanding it better, because it's learning. I don't have to see to believe, but I see it, so I can't deny it now. Once you see blind eyes, I prayed for thousands of blind eyes. I see one blind eye open. Now I believe anybody blind eye can open. I haven't seen another one yet though, but I've seen it, and now my flesh is like it don't. When I do it, it don't trip on me anymore because it's seen it.
Yeah.
The only thing he tries to do to me is tries to go, maybe something wrong because maybe you lost the power. maybe there's sin in your life. He starts talking because he's trying to get me to question who I am. That's what it does, right?
I have a question on that. What about like in the Gospels where it says that the disciples fell down and worshiped Jesus, like before the cross?
Yeah.
What about that?
What do you mean, like, explain to me a little more?
Well, you're saying that the soul can't worship, yet the
Yeah.
disciples, even before like getting born again,
Yeah.
it says that they fell down and
No,
worshipped.
every man has a spirit, right?
Okay. So you're saying
So
like
I believe
the spirit of man.
their spirit. I believe the spirit of man. Remember, I was talking about the glory of the spirit.
Yeah, it's
It
growing.
goes after its glory.
Mhm.
I believe it was experiencing its glory, and it probably fell before the presence of God. It was
No,
the
that makes
spirit of
sense.
God that was experiencing the spirit.
And he was crucified.
I just didn't know if you were saying like they had to be like born again with God's spirit in order to worship.
No. But the worship will come from the spirit, even of natural man.
Okay.
Because remember, celestial chases after its glory, the terrestrial after its glory. I shared that,
Yeah.
right? So even natural man's spirit doesn't understand God, but it knows there's something out there. It doesn't know what it looks like. It could be Buddha, it could be a rock, it could be something, but it knows there's a higher power. Just don't believe that God's it, right? So when they experienced God, then they fell down, but it was the spirit that was worshiping Jesus, right? And the flesh just reciprocated. They get down because. All right. I put here, the soul cannot worship God, and we explain why. God is only known through our spirit. Okay? Knowledge comes through the spirit. Okay? Broken fellowship. You cannot have a broken relationship with God. The seed of you in you cannot be broken. Okay? But you can have broken fellowship. What does broken fellowship look like?
Not spending time.
Not spending time, no.
What happens if you don't talk to your wife? Ever. 5 minutes a day.
Broken fellowship.
What happens if you never get to know her or care about her, what's going on in her life? Ever. What is she going to feel like? What is it going to be like? What's that relationship like?
Apart.
You know?
No relationship.
Really no relationship. Then when something comes up in her life, then she goes, I've been trying to tell you, I've been trying to show you, but you've never been able to listen or hear. Right? So the fellowship's broken. The relationship, they're still married. You're still married, but the fellowship can be broken. This is why I hit on prayer yesterday. Guys, There's one thing you become masters at, become masters of your prayer life. That thing's gotta be your number one, over ministry, over family, over your work. Okay, listen to me. Who tells you you have a choice not to pray? Let me ask you, what happens when you don't get up and go to work? Oh, you think you got a choice, right? What happens if you don't go to work? You don't get paid. Do you have a choice? Family depends on you. Everyone around you depends on you. Do you really got a choice to go to work or not? But you think you have a choice whether you pray or not. Your family depends on you. Everybody around you depends on you. But you have a choice not to pray to God. The one who gives life and provision and everything to you, that gave this gift to you. That's silly to me, you know what I mean? I had to come to this revelation. This is just some stuff that I personally came to recently in my own life. My prayer life has exploded recently because I'm learning in this. Like my pastor, he's going through a whole training thing right now on prayer. And it's fathershouse.net. If you ever want to hear some of the best preaching in your whole life, fathershouse.net. Guys, I've traveled the world, met hundreds of pastors. I have not met one like this cat. I have not found any pepper in him at all yet. This guy is amazing. It goes online every Sunday. They do it live. So anyways, the thing is our broken fellowship can keep us from being in tune to this voice. When we're not spending time with God and we're wondering why the voice is screaming all the time and why all this stuff is happening to me and I don't understand, God. Why is this happening? I thought I was a son and you told me that you're going to take care of me and do all this stuff for me. Right? But you're stuck and you never spend time with him, you're never there. The broken fellowship will cause you to function out of soul all day long. And soul will become your master. He will lead you around like a puppy dog. He'll make you hate life. Right? It's broken fellowship, guys. We have a choice. We might have to force and discipline and train our soul to come into alignment with who we are. We don't like those words. Right? Soul don't like that. Matter of fact, soul will get a little spiritual and go, oh, that's religious. That's a religious spirit. But you know who you are? You don't have to do that. You don't have to do all them works. The difference is we work from rest. We don't work towards it. That's soul. Soul works towards it. We work from it. We don't go worship. We don't go to prayer because we have to. We go to prayer because we love it. That's why I hit on prayer yesterday. The reason we hate prayer is because we're going to God in mundane prayers. Same old story. We get tired of it. We're not intimately getting in and encountering God, experiencing God, and having that intimate time to where he just wrecks us. Times when you're just laying there and you're feeling like you're just laying there and you're silent and all of a sudden you just get this hunch. You go, oh my God. I don't understand if that was cool as God ever heard that down. Dude, that was so cool. You got it again. You know what I mean? And you're there and you're just listening. You know, and you come out and you're like, God, show me this. This is so cool. And you get out working like, I'm gonna be back here. Just give me a few minutes. I'm gonna listen. Now you're excited about it because it's intimate. It's like I told you, it's like going into your secret chambers with your wife. When you get into that time and you're having those sexual relations with that wife, that intimacy is different than talking. And that, you enjoy it. And you want that more and more, and you enjoy it because you go back for it over and over and over and over and over. Right? Because it's fun, it's exciting. That's what our prayer life can be like. And that's where we'll never have broken fellowship. You master prayer. Prayer's got to be more important than even reading the logos. Reading the logos is important. Don't misunderstand me, guys. But hey, God is more than words on a book. He's Rhema. He's the living word of the book. I'm not saying don't read your Bible. You look at my Bible, it's shredded. Guys, I read it like a champ. I love my Bible. I read a ton of it. But the Rhema part of God is discovered in your time with him, in your fellowship time. Okay, guys? So I love you guys. I hope this blessed you guys. I hope this helped. If you have any questions, you got my number now. Try my best. I'll have this stuff up so you guys can get in there and start accessing it soon and stuff. So that's it, man.